What is going on, guys? This is Auto Leader, and today I'm going to show you all a few updates that I'm going through right now. So, you guys probably know Robot Sergeant Red. His board is somewhat messed up. It's not a big deal, but sometimes he cuts off at certain points of the thing and he starts over. When you turn him on and you make him, I don't know, do the scanner activate and you stop him there, you push again, he says Robot Sergeant activated. Of course, for anybody who has had or has this robot, it's not normal. And of course, here's Super Sergeant.
I am a super.
The custom I made thanks to Kevin. And well, basically that's what the last few days have been consisting of. Now, I'll pause and clean the camera for a little sec because it actually is kind of dirty. There. Alright, so apart from those, I gotta meet up with the seller again because the seller actually forgot to give me the shield. This is the shield of Super Sergeant. But this will be the last video you guys will see of Super Sergeant like this, because he's no longer going to have most of his armor. The only pieces he's going to keep is probably only the chest plate, because the rest is going to be, replaced by these chromed armors, yeah, that were from a knockoff that I had. So, today a package arrived to my house, and it was a package from a long place, actually, a far place from Argentina, but as I've said before, I might have said it on my official Facebook page, but what happened is I got two sergeants. I got a blue and a red. The red one I got it and it was very close from my house, so I was like, yeah, why not? So that's why I gotta meet up with the seller again, because she forgot to give me the fucking shield. Anyways, that's how complete it can get. Sadly, he doesn't have the wrist covers, nor the sword, nor the missile launchers, but thankfully he's got the remote and most of the armor that is relevant, especially for the legs, so he doesn't look naked. Anyways, I received this pretty big box for, I don't know why it's so big, it was weird, and it barely had any packing on, and they were all the toys were just in a black bag, but I basically got the Robot Sergeant Blue, which is right here. He's getting cleaned up and everything, and I'll pass to explain something a little bit funny. There's pieces around here, don't get me wrong, these are not pieces of Sergeant's mechanism. But what I was trying to do, what I was actually doing, right before this Sergeant arrived and I had to go to school, is I was trying to repair the parts Turbo Fighter, meaning that I was trying to make his mechanism a functional mechanism, which will be postponed for now. Again, you can see there's a mix-up of parts here and shit, but no biggie. Here's the remote. So basically, this new Robot Sergeant arrived with a chest plate of its own and its own, shoulder armor. So he's going to keep those two. The rest of the pieces are going to come from him. Remote, shield, missile launchers, and he's going to be the one that goes inside the Robot Sergeant box. That is right there behind the Turbo Fighter? Yeah, the Turbo Fighter. Anyways. Other than that, another thing I want to point out about this is that the clickers are in perfect shape. I'm nowhere near kidding. Both clickers are in amazing, not clickers, but posers. They are in nothing but perfect shape, so I adore it. I absolutely adore it. In addition to that, the gears are actually not broken, which is a very, very big bonus. And he doesn't have that much scratches or anything like the other one, so I really just have to clean it up and that's it. Now, going with the feet, the legs, everything's fine. No broken parts, thankfully. The only two issues that this Robot Sergeant had, or well, three technically, is that the motor, just like the parts Turbo Fighter, or well, here's where the thing gets a little messy because the gearbox of the parts Turbo Fighter went to the Turbo Fighter that's assembled. You know, the blue Turbo Fighter that's assembled, and the parts Turbo Fighter right now, of course, I fixed up the motor of that one, I cleaned it up, and that's the gearbox that went to Sergeant. So Sergeant right now should be having Robot Sergeant's gearbox that was jacked up during the years. Anyways, my original, of course, not this one. This one's mechanism is just fine. Anyways, he's got the same issue that the parts Turbo Fighter had at one point, which was that the motor, you turn it and everything, he works and shit, but at one point he just, out of nowhere, stops. The motor stops. That's not a big deal. It's just cleaning off the old-ass grease and re-greasing it, and that's practically it. Now, there's been 3 or 4 problems that this guy has been going through. No biggie. The speakers sound kind of bad, but he actually sounds good. The board is a 2nd gen, I believe, board. It's actually not the generation as mine was, which is right here. It is not the same board. It's actually a whole lot older. Thankfully, it's the same pitch and everything as my original Sargent, so it's the perfect replacement. The relay is a little bit unadjusted. I'm going to have to adjust that. Underneath here, the lever, which I'll have to find because I don't know where I actually left it. Something tells me it's here, but it's not. But the white lever for the turning mechanism actually broke. It was broken, it has a missing piece, so I'm using the one for the parts turbo fighter and maybe remaking the other one with a little baking soda for the parts turbo fighter if I ever get it to move again. Oh, it's here. It's here. Alright, you guys see that? Pretty sure you guys do? Yeah. Now, what is the main problem that really gave me goosebumps for a little fucking second until I realized what was going on? Here's the board, and there's, of course, the wires for the IR receiver, which are at this corner, right here. There's a black, there's a red, and there's a gray. Now, the black one is ground or negative. The red one is positive. And the middle one, the gray one, is like the some sort of signal, I would think. So what was going on is that I turned the robot on and everything. He resets, you know, the mechanism resets because he was actually forced. And the gearbox was in the turning position, but the lever was broken, so the body was kind of loose. So, you know, I opened it up and everything, and as soon as I pushed the remote of mine, in both cases, nothing happens. The robot doesn't respond. So I'm like, no, please don't tell me this one's messed up just like the red one, but worse. Well, no, it turns out that whatever or whoever or whatever sort of machine made this board and soldered the things on, soldered a terminal of the transistor wrong. Okay, if you guys see that transistor, that little black transistor that goes to the ground of the receiver, let me see if I can actually make a close-up, even though it's not super... Yeah, it's not super... Yeah, I guess you guys can see it. The one that's right next to Q1. This little leg... Let me just... There. This little terminal right here, you could actually see the terminal of the transistor itself. And it didn't have any solder on it. So basically this has been wrong ever since the factory. And the robot has never received a single remote signal. So... I basically grabbed the soldering iron, you know, remake the point and everything. It works flawlessly. The board works flawlessly. There's no problems or glitches or anything like the other one, where I'm actually going to go ahead and demonstrate what the hell is wrong with this one. I'll take the gun out so it doesn't drain too much power.
Robot target activated.
Here he works fine and everything. He's a little slow. I'll go ahead and grab this one. Sometimes he doesn't do the weapon training. Let me see if he does it right now.
Sergeant, weapons training.
Alright, he does it now. But this is basically the main issue that this guy has been having.
Enemy detected. Attack.
Alright, you guys see right now he's on the enemy detected attack thing. He's supposed to say scanner activated. He says enemy detected attack, but this is the worst thing.
Defend against. Attack. Scanner activated. Enemy detected. Attack. Defend against. Attack. Scanner activated. Enemy detected. Attack.
This is basically what goes on.
Defend against. Attack. Scanner activated. Enemy.
Oh, he's not doing it right now. What the fuck?
Robot sergeant.
There you go. That's the issue. That's the issue. He resets.
Scanner activated. Enemy detected. Attack. Defend against. Attack. Robot sergeant activated. Scanner activated.
And there's times he just gets stuck saying robot sergeant activated, robot sergeant activated.
Robot sergeant activated.
See what I mean?
Activated. Robot Sergeant activated. Scanner activated. No enemy detected. Scanner deactivated.
Now, the first time I brought it home, I'm pretty sure he's going to start doing that in a while, is that when I push the weapon training, he walks a little bit and he completely stops like if he finished the command, but he didn't.
Sergeant, weapons training. Enemy detected. Attack. The Robot Sergeant activated. Scanner activated. Sergeant, weapons training. Sergeant, checking engine. Enemy detected. Attack. Sergeant, checking engine.
Of course, this one really has, like, at least I've experienced at least 3 or 4 glitches with this guy. Number one, I dropped the remote, for fuck's sake. Sorry. And yeah, this is my first Robot Sergeant's remote, and I actually made a modification back then, which I improved, which is a switch for the action button. So that when you push this, it basically gives out a continuous signal to the robot, so the robot can actually go like a continuous one without you having to push the button. And in some cases, this painted like mine has, you know, witnessed. Anyways, this guy has had a bunch of glitches. He stops at random points on the weapon training, especially when he's walking. He walks and he just stops out of nowhere. With the play mode, or not the play, but the action mode, the action button, he goes until a while, especially when he starts like with the defend against attack. He passes that point, and like the walking cycle where he's before playing the music, like, you know, like he shoots, he keeps on shooting, and then he's supposed to turn and then finally play the music. He glitches out and he starts over again for no odd reason. Sometimes he does it, sometimes he does not. So it's just up to the toy itself. It's a board issue that I really don't feel like dealing with right now. It's all right while the robot walks, turns, and makes sounds. That's fine. But anyways, my main need has always been another Blue Sergeant, because that was by far one of my favorite Happy Kid robots ever. So, this guy works absolutely fine. He might need, as I've said, the issues it had were just motor, the lever, which will be replaced. The switch is slightly dirty, so I might have to take it apart and clean it. And I might buy a metallic speaker, or maybe take the metallic speaker out of Super Sergeant for a while and put it into this Sergeant, so it actually sounds as good as the other ones. Because basically all of my Reds, except this one, actually have a metallic speaker into them. First Gen Turbo Fighter, I believe second Gen Super Fighter, and the third Gen Turbo Fighter that I, kind of made up myself. Anyways, as I was saying before, this robot came in a lot of 3 items, which the other 2 are actually here. I thought I was going to sell them off, but then I ended up being like, no, these are sick. I love them. I mean, Optimus Prime, it's not the best thing, but the base it has is just nuts.
Optimus Prime.
Makes like a bunch of chainsaw sounds when you push this, and when you move this, he also makes those sounds. And of course this one's fucking sick, and I would like to know if somebody knows the origin of this figure. I would think it's Action Man, but in all honesty, I don't know. But this thing looks amazing. From the outside, it looks amazing. Now, there's a piece here that I cannot put back on. The lock is broken, and I'm gonna have to fix it up some way. But what happens basically is this. You push this button on the back, and yes, exactly. I love that feature. I love the way they molded the face, which it looks really intimidating. So I adore this thing. I love it. So please, if somebody actually knows about these figures or something, please let me know. What the hell is this? Because I'm going to try to take it apart and everything to fix up the arm. Yeah, that'll be a must. I have to take it apart and fix up that stupid arm. So I can, put all the armors in it, and at the same time, I'm going to probably take it all apart to clean it up, but it really is not a generic one. It actually feels really well, and I haven't found a single a single sign of a brand or anything. So I don't know what brand made it, and I don't know what toy line it is from. As I've said, my best guess is Action Man, because I know those were kind of obscure, but I really do not know. Whatever it is, it's badass, and I would like to know more about it, to be honest. I'd like to know if it's complete, which I kind of think it might be. But yeah. Anyways, I guess that's practically it. So as this video finishes, I'm gonna put the laptop to upload it, and I'm probably gonna continue with Robot Sergeant, and maybe finish it up tonight. First pieces, of course, might be the head or an arm, and then the chest, the back part of the body, and everything, so I can get the robot squeaky clean and functional as it kind of is, because he actually is functional right now, but still needs a little polishing here and there. So yeah, I guess that's practically it, everyone. So kind of pisses me off that I didn't get to own another newer generation Sergeant like that one is, because that one's board is, as I've said, different, so it's a whole lot newer, maybe from 2010. These two might be older, yeah. And it really doesn't matter. At some point, I might end up finding another Sergeant, and it might have that. I really do not know. But yeah, I'm really glad that at least I own a low-pitch Sergeant like my original one used to be. Anyways, people, I guess that's practically it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with more updates on Robot Sergeant. So, thank you for watching.